Dump that down there. Man, when you got all this salt and water are just the enemy of metal, man. So hard on metal. I get the rust off my hatchet. I just don't like the way it looks. Welcome everybody. My name is Calvin. This is Dad's Workshop. We're gonna be working on pelts today. We got a bunch of stuff to do with these pelts. And we still do woodwork, and I gotta add the bottom to that box. It's gonna be a limited week this week with all the holidays and stuff. Gotta spend time with the fam. So thank you for being here. We're gonna go as long as we can here. Stretch this thing out. Have a good day. Do some stuff with some things and some things with some stuff. Check my little angle here. I've been cutting through bone and stuff and tendons with this. I can see it's had some. I like using my bare hands, guys, but my hands have been getting really irritated by all the caustic solutions I've been using. Hunter Thompson, welcome, Hunter S. Thompson. How are you doing? One of my favorite authors. Gonzo. Good. That's all I'm going to do is polish that a little bit. All right, so I got this raccoon pelt. It came to me in pretty poor. I like saying it like that, poor. Doesn't that sound old-fashioned-y? You know, I like old-fashioned-y stuff too. Poor condition. In a poor state. And we're going to work it. We're going to work this pelt in its poor state. But I got to show you what's going on with it first. Here's the pelt right here. It's been soaking in a baking soda bath so I can pull some of this hair will slip. It has the legs on it. I might pull those off still. This is almost a full pelt from the butt, all the legs. The only thing it doesn't have is the head. I did not take the head with it. I'll put it on the fleshing beam in a second, and we'll try to get the rest of this or some of this hair out. You got to put it in alkali solution. That is a basic solution to get the hair to slip. At least that's what I've been taught. There, some of that's coming out. That's good. That's right in the middle of the pelt. Now it looks like maybe some what they call grease burned right here. Otherwise the pelt was damaged, but it looks like there's a number, like a large area that is not damaged on the pelt. So we're gonna try to slip the hair off, and I don't want to put it back in there. Actually, I don't want it to get on again. I have a bin, I throw it all in. Hair is pretty useless, at least to me. Somebody else has, maybe put it in your garden to keep stuff away. If they smell raccoon hair, they probably won't come in the garden. mammals. There is uses for it, but I don't have any. What do we got here? Small woodlot. Pat, what's up? How's everybody today? Happy Monday. I got some other pellets that have been in a tannic, little bitties, that have been in a tannic solution overnight, and we're going to pull those out and take a look at them. This theory, you don't have to do all this fancy stuff that these people say you have to do. I think it's like there's a bunch of different kinds of gatekeeping. I was telling Heather this morning. There's the kind where people actively try to keep you from learning stuff. And then there's the kind where they just try to confuse the mess out of you, where they're like, well, you can do it this way, but it's not going to look good. And you need this and this and this. And then you got to do it this way. And if you want to be sustainable, you have to do it this way. And you got to do that. But you know what? You probably shouldn't do that. And I mean, it's so confusing. That's the type of gatekeeping that's the more advanced level, where they are so confusing that you have no idea what they're talking about. It's a different level, but I still think it's gatekeeping, and low key it is. They may not admit that, but and there are these people all over where they have taken it and made it so complex that it's like you need a PhD to do it. And I don't think it's like that. Mike, what's up, man? Mike is making stuff. I could put lye in here, but everybody scared me away from using lye. I have plenty of it to use. I use baking soda to try to be gentler. I'm going to try to scrape off some of the hair here. Maybe a little bit of grease burning on this pelt. We're going to find out, because this one was in tough condition when I got it. We're going to find out if you can tan this thing out of this bad condition. I tend to think you can. I tend to think you can. All right, let me wipe my hands off. Minnie Mouser. Welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is a deer pelt, guys. Hey, hello, deer pelt. Hi. Set piece. We're going to do that. We're going to use that in the future. I can't mess with that now because I have to do a tremendous amount of work to get it to where it needs to go in the tannin and keep the hair. So let's go over to the flushing beam. Good morning, Tom Plywood. Good morning, Mike. Good morning to all my members. This is subscriber only mode, so if you want to chat, you have to be a subscriber. I'm going to take this kind of gross pelt, and I know the water looks kind of gross too. This is not a gross out channel. I'm not trying to do that. This is really something that's done every day. We're going to squeeze this out. It's way better than it was. It was really nasty, man. I barely could even stand his stomach to smell it. So this is a raccoon pelt, and it's got fat on it too. So, and obviously it's still connected too. So I'm going to take my knife and actually slice through. These are where the legs were here. Right there, that's a leg. Are you tough enough? We're gonna separate it right here. And then another leg there. I try to keep all of the extremities as much as possible. I did not keep the head. Did not keep the head. This the flesh side. Woo, still a little bit ripe. Still a little bit ripe, but it's better than it was. All of this handling is preserved. That's why the dog's under me right now. I have never, Grim Reefer asks, have you ever attempted to work with reptiles? No, but I believe it is the same procedure. Same procedure, same skin is skin as far as I know. It's collagen, right? So the procedure should be the same. Bird, reptile, mammal, it doesn't matter. It may be a little different as far as the nuance of it, because everything, even this is different than a deer hide, because a raccoon is a fattier animal, right? I'm trying to think where the best spot to. I'm going to round this off too. I'm not going to take this whole thing, but I want to know where the best. I don't want to waste stuff not cutting the right spot. I think this is the best spot right here, and right here. This is where the head was. So that was the neck area there. Now we have a squarish pelt, right? This is kind of pleasant, actually. The smell doesn't bother me because I got a stomach for that mess now. This hair really doesn't want to slip. I'm going to take my knife to it. I don't want to pull the flesh up though and tear this. This is the grain side. It's easily damaged. A dog crying out there. You can hear it. Hold on, wait a minute because it's raised up. The flesh is raised up there right now. I'm going to take a piece. I don't want to touch my face at all at this point. Hey, Thomas Carter, welcome. All right. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to find one of my easier scraping tools. I also got a bone here somewhere. I might use this bone. This is from the cannon bone of a deer. If we can keep it primitive, we'll do that. That does seem to be taking it up. Now I pulled on it again. So when I pull on it, it pulls that flesh up, and I don't want to tear that. So I got to be careful about pulling it and then scraping. It's got some elasticity to it. Yeah, I don't love the way that that's like kind of damaging the grain. I might have to work at it a little more. So it's in a caustic bath, or a slightly caustic bath of baking soda. And it does look like maybe this is grease burning down here on the bottom of the pelt, little bitty holes. Man, it's really tough in there for an animal like this. I'm kind of surprised its hair held so hard. So no, I have not done reptiles. It's an excellent question. You want to send me one? We can work on it. You want to bring me one? Bring me a reptile pelt. Let me work it. We don't have many reptiles worth um, preserving up here. I did do the complete deer skull, like as if I was doing a full cape the other day. I'm a little hesitant to bring that out here because of the gross out factor. There's still flesh attached to it. It needs to be fleshed some, and folks are real squeamish. Folks are kind of squeamish. You can see that's where the spine was. There's always a little extra flesh on the spine area, but you got to be careful because you scrape it and you'll scrape it a little too hard sometimes. That's quite a bit of, and always right next to the edge too. All right, I'm gonna take a. I got a board over here that's good for this. That bone is a little too sharp. Got a couple pieces of wood I might use. This is kind of rounded on the edge here. I'm going to tell you, that didn't come off easy. And once I get this hair off, I want to salt this pelt and put it on a board and stretch it out, right? We'll probably get that whole process in today. Now, when you do this on the grains, this apparently the raccoon has fine hair on there too, as well as this coarse hair. It could be that it got cold enough to cyst that bacteria. that usually helps the hair fall out of the follicles. Now, back in the day, what the tanners would do was actually let it get nasty and let the bacteria work, sweat it out basically, and those hair would loosen up from the pellet naturally as part of the decomposition process. Obviously, you know, you do this, I think you get kind of a stomach for this stuff. It's kind of hard for a lot of people to handle. Raise your hand if you want me to show the deer head. I want to show it really bad. And it's not to gross people out. Like I said, I'm really proud of the fact that I only made one mistake on it, and that was near the eye. This is a raccoon pelt, man. Someone said, "What am I fleshing? Will outdoor?" Yeah, this is a raccoon pelt in a what we would call a what we I'm not gonna even call it a good or middling condition. It was in kind of a poor condition, but the pelt seemed salvageable to me. So I actually don't need to flesh it at all. It's fleshed. You can see the grains. This is the flesh side right here. It's pretty clean on that side, no problem. It's the grain side that needs to be, the hair has to be loosened and removed. So what I put it in is a baking soda bath. What I might do now is I might actually take maybe some lye and some water, just a real fine lye solution. Um, and yeah, I totally think it's a little slimy, but raccoons are fatty. I haven't had a chance to de-slime it yet, man. You know, it needs to go into a vinegar bath. It needs to go. Look, this may be a grease burn right here. Another hole right here makes me think it's experienced a little grease burn. I think most of this I could save though. I'm convinced. No, I didn't. I mean, it could be a mount, yes, because I preserved the entire thing. I took the full cape. I mean, it's not connected at the neck, but I have the head and body pelt. I did it as if it was a full cape, right? And I do have the head preserved as if it could be used for a mount. Correct. Yes. I want to be careful doing this with my knife here. Now I got a possum that's just behind me. Not a possum, excuse me, muskrat. Sorry, possums. Sorry, muskrats, for mistaking you all. This, I think, I'm going to have to do more work to loosen this hair. I got lye here, right? Why can't I just... I don't want to be too aggressive here and mess the grain side up. There are some preservable spots. So here's some damage. I see some damage here, some damage down by the bottom, a couple of holes. But other than that, like as like a decent leather stock, I think it's usable. I've heard of really bad condition stuff being usable, so I tend to believe it's usable. I don't want to put it into a tanning bath though, and then end up with a situation where I can't get the hair out, you know, because the hair is locked in by the tannins. Yeah, this seems to be. Let's do this. And I still have the legs attached to. I might remove those here today, as I said before. It's also cold here. That's going to stop, like I say, stop that bacteria that's working on the hair follicles, which I really don't like to have in here very much because I have other pelts I'm trying to keep the hair on. So I don't want that bacteria even in the room, really. thus far, man, my kind of little tannery here and my little adventures in taxidermy have gone without having to have too many bad smells. Now, when you gut an animal, there are some bad smells, but this is the exception. This animal was pretty stinky. Now it's taking it off, but it's putting marks on the grain side. I can see that. All right, I got an idea. I'm going to add like a teaspoon of lye to this water. Okay. Hopefully we don't burn this pelt out. This is sodium hydroxide. I might get fresh water here with this. Sodium hydroxide. Actually, nah, man, that's a full-size raccoon. See, and it was old. All right, here's the thing. If y'all know what you're doing, tell me not to do this, because what I want to do is take a teaspoon of this lye, and I don't want to work this too fast. I'm not worried about speed that much. I'm going to do an eyeball teaspoon of this lye into a cleaner batch of water. I'm going to get some rainwater. I'll dump this out. Right now, I'm getting rainwater from the rainwater system here. Sometimes I gotta tease this thing to let the water out right. If I'm lucky, it comes out fast. Yeah, baking soda wasn't caustic enough, I don't think, man. So we're gonna have to try lye in here. Soda ash can do it. Just a little smidge of lye, I think will do it, dude. And also help get that grease off. There we go. Okay, folks. And really, the smart way to do this is to put the lye in, let it dissolve fully, let the heat reduce, because it creates an exothermic reaction where you have heat. So sorry about that delay there. You never worked with lye. This is experimental, but there is no, as I'm told, there's no paint by numbers way to do this. Always be extremely cautious when you're using this stuff. It's extremely dangerous. It's not anything that you guys don't eat, because it's actually used, like if you eat pretzels, the way they get it black is by, this is food grade lye here too. I wanted to get the best possible. This is what I use for soap making, which coincidentally is kind of what's going to happen here. What's going to happen is we're going to have a combination of fats and alkali, which is going to be, I think that's probably enough right there. maybe even a little more than a teaspoon. Now I'm going to move that around in there. Hopefully it doesn't melt through the bottom. Notice this thing seals. A little bit of both. Trap my own, and I do roadkill stuff too. Not scared of the roadkill, as long as it's fairly fresh. I have no idea how much caustic value or anything that has. I probably would need a thermometer to know if it's really hot in there. It should be exothermic, so you have some heat. Heather's here on site. It's my girlfriend. Yes, the raccoon was roadkill. This raccoon was roadkill. Did I not tell you all that? Yeah. Yep. I can trap too. I mean, that's always an option for me, and I kind of know where they are too. But I don't need to trap animals if they're readily available. You know. It's actually the most. What do you call it? Make sure I need to be careful using that stick. It's caustic. We got to be really careful we don't get any of this in our eyes and stuff. Find something to stir that with that I'm not going to want to use again. Oh, there we go. Skewer. I got these bamboo skewers around here everywhere. That's the best thing. All right, I'm going to dip this hide in this bath. Looks like the lye dissolved pretty quickly. Thank you. Yeah, trapping season quite different around here though. It's not really trapping season right now, as you know. It's deer season, so it's mostly hunting season right now. There's also turkey and bear right now. And I'm a hunter too, with marginal success over the years. We'll call it marginal success. What we don't want to do is dissolve the pelt, but the raccoon pelts are fatty and greasier. And what we want to do is we want to get rid of, I think I'm going to take these legs off. I don't see the point of keeping those, and I can round off the pelt that way, make it a little simpler. I mean, I can still keep them, but they've got fur. I got to get rid of the fur on them too. Rounding off, meaning making the pelt square, really is what it is. So really it would be this whole section would come off. But what I'm going to do first though, is I want to keep as much as possible with these little holes that I'm seeing. I'm kind of praying for some cold days so that when stuff gets killed on the road, it's preserved for me. Now, wasn't much lye that I put in that water. Now I can see it saponifying right now. That means the greases that are on the raccoon hide and the lye are kind of creating a soap-like substance. I bet if I shook it around, it'd probably make bubbles. Because essentially fats plus sodium hydroxide equals soap, right? I can see hair coming off already, coming off in clumps. That's what I need. Don't use lye though, said Skill Cult. Could be loose hair. Do not get this stuff in your eyes, dude, or on your skin. This is experimental, but I think like this pelt is in need of like immediate care. It needs to have that stuff removed so I can get it into a salt and I can get it to its next stage better. Let's put that in there for a second. I'm going to show y'all some different stuff I'm doing. I'm going to let that sit in that lye bath for a little bit. Stinky thing. Dad Short Sog, welcome. Why is it gray on the underside? That is the flesh side. And sometimes they, you know, I mean, Avaros, I don't know what where your experience lies, but I think I have another pelt here where you see that as well. It's just, I think that's just, you know, like an animal. Look at their skin. A raccoon's pelt is dark generally. It's a dark gray to a black color hair. An animal's skin usually matches on the flesh side. Well, actually, this would be the flesh side, right? So the flesh side usually matches the hair. So that makes sense that would be a blackish color. I pulled other hide out. Plus, it had some time to oxygenate and decomp a little. So I don't know exactly. I don't know actually. Hey, Miss Heather, make Avaros a mod. Pelado. Been a member for 4 months, man. See, we got valuable members here, and their experience here is we love them. All right, let me move this. This has sodium hydroxide lye in it right here, and pelt. So we want to be careful with that. We'll put that over here. We're going to take these little guys right here that I was started last night. Now, I can already see them depleting the tannin in here. These are deer hawks right here. That's not blood. That's the tannin bath that they're in. It was a reddish color, but it's actually really dark. So we only put these in this tannin bath last night, and look how much they've picked up. We're going to scut these and get the fatty greasiness off of them, right? But we still have the hair on them, right? So hopefully we've preserved and locked that hair into place. Hey, did I miss something? Pilata said, can't stick around long, but wanted to pop in, drop a like, and say hi. Well, thanks for being here. Strong vinegar would be the next step. Someone said, I used to trap in Northern Ontario. That's tough, too. That's hard to get a trapping license up there. Hunting and trapping is really kind of selective up there. Northern Ontario, and we use strong vinegar for tanning. Gosh, I need something to itch my nose with that's not, and it hasn't been exposed to sodium hydroxide. All right, so this is a hawk right here. Let me move the camera slightly. Well, you know, it's all Nurse D2996 said better to do a smoke tanning for hides, maybe for keeping fur, you know, probably. That's the native way. The European way was to bark tan, which is what we've done here. We've concentrated a bark solution. There's different ways, 1,000 ways to skin a cat or any other animal, as it were. Like I said, just to summarize what we've done today, we took a kind of funky raccoon pelt and we put that in a sodium hydroxide bath to help loosen up that hair because it's kind of in a bad state. It's a bit greasy. We're going to scut this a little bit gently here. This has already absorbed some of the bark tannin, which should help lock that hair in place. But we'll find out. Trust me, if I lose hair on my pelts, like the furs that I'm trying to keep, if the hair falls out when I bark tan them, I'm going to go to brain tanning too. I do have the brain here just in case. We'll do that on this because once these get done bark tanning, I'm going to moisturize them with brain. I also kept some marrow for that too and neat's foot oil. So you do this, and my understanding, I'm told to brush the hair, you know, on the other side. Now, other people told me don't do that, but welcome, Nurse D. I'm sensitive to hair loss too, Pilato. I understand. Eggs also, Avaro said, don't eggs also work instead of brain, or do you just have spare brain to use? I have brain from 2 deer. And I also save neat's foot oil because these are from the legs. If you boil those bones up, the oil that rises to the top is very clear and contains a lot of lecithin, which is what you need to emulsify oil. Egg yolks have a lot of lecithin in them, so you use that as well. Mix egg yolk with the brain, and then that mixture solution with the neat's foot oil or olive oil. Mix that with warm water, not boiling, and that solution. Then you spread that solution over the hide and smoke it. So yes, Avaros, to answer your question, yes, and that goes along with what my friend was saying here a minute ago about brains are better for tanning. Need to make a hoop style about 3 foot above the fire ash. This is all good information, Nurse D. And then after laying pellet cover with a tarp to trap smoke, yeah, use wet wood or I don't know what uncredited was. That's really good, Nurse D. Actually, I'm going to take a screenshot of that real quick because that is kind of what I need, those technical details. Those I've never smoked a hide. We're going to smoke one here in a bit. Here's one. Let me show you this hide, Nurse D. Here's my hide right now. This is not stretched over a hoop, but this one's salt cured right now. So this is the one that I probably will smoke, brain tan and smoke. I want to bark tan it, but I don't want to lose the integrity of the hide. That's a young buck right there. Just in case you just got here, Nurse D. I'm just kind of gently taking the hair side here. These hawks, I'm really proud of how these came out. Most people throw these out, but they're real soft and supple skin. And we stretched them over a board. Now, I did not use galvanized nails. So there's black spots when they go into the tanning, but I think we'll work around. That's fine. I don't see that as a problem. I'm going to scrape some of this stuff here, work some of this off. Bark tanning or any kind of tanning is just a combination of tannins and collagen. They create a new organic material, which is a combination of both, right? All right, so let's take this. I'm going to squeeze this out. You wring it out too. That's going to allow it to let in more tannins. And these are new, so they suck in the tannins really quickly. And I can see that because I added tannin to this bath this morning, this little feta cheese container that I'm using. I added tannins to it this morning. They've already depleted them. So I know they're taking in lots of tannins. You can see right here, a lot of tannins on the flesh side here. We're going to scrape that scudding and get some of the grease off of there. It'll go back into that tannin bath. Now, the brain tanning is the Western Native American First Nations way, right? And I think First Nations on most, well, except for in Europe, I mean, European First Nations, there would be like Celtic people and stuff like that, Picts and stuff like that. But they did bark tanning. So the Western world, and I think maybe even Australia, Aboriginal people use bark tanning. I mean, not bark tanning, use brain tanning, right? Which is the smoke procedure that was just described by Nurse. It would be eggs and brain, or brain and eggs, or just brain. Every animal is said to have enough brain to tan it with. So you use that brain, squish it up, mix it with warm water, spread it over, moisturize the pelt, and then, as Nurse was describing, smoke it. And that's how they preserve the hides. The smoking was the preservation piece. The egg and brain material is more of a moisturization piece to work the hide so it's workable. Because hides want to be raw hide. They want to turn into stiff like paper, like parchment. Other thing I've done with these in the past is this. And we're trying to work this flesh side. So if there's grease or there's anything, this would be the side you would see exposed if you had suede, right? Now this is a deer, so most suede is made from domesticated animals, but so is most of our food. All right, let's squeeze that out. Put it in there, and then we'll put that aside. I just don't want to do the same one twice. I got 4 of them in there. And you can see it's absorbed. I got mimosa, so you see it's like a salmon color. Mimosa and pecan hulls are the bark choice I used. Stick the brain in the freezer. Yes, the brain is in the freezer. The brains are in the freezer. Wonder how that raccoon hide is doing in that lye bath. We're going to check it, but we're going to do all of this first because we don't want lye on our hands and stuff like this. One seems greasier right here. These were a little bit bigger deer. Yeah, this was a bigger deer here. Y'all can see where I nailed it without galvanized nails. So you can see that iron oxide reacts to tannins by turning it black. You see this in ebonizing wood, right? If you're a woodworker, it's one of the ways that they actually stain wood with that technique, which is taking steel wool, putting it into vinegar, and then it reacts with those tannins. The iron oxide reacts with the tannins in the wood to ebonize it or turn it black. Got a big chunky piece up there. I'd like to take that off. I might use my knife. Yesterday, I noticed that we're still some tendons present in their sleeves on these leg hocks. So I removed those with brute force. That's about where they were removed. So you see that schmutz that's there. You can see still like sinew. And that exposes what the color is actually under there. That'll tan. I'm going to get this little chunk off the edge here too. Ole Miss 644 here, trying to catch as much info as I can and wanting to help with Boy Scout Troop leatherworking merit badge. Well, it's nice to know this for leatherworking merit badge, but this is actually tanning, Ole Miss. So this would be the process before you do the leather working, which is the stitching. And I was a Boy Scout myself and did the leather working. I think I got the leather working merit badge. That's more stitching and stamping and working leather that's already made. But this is really cool. You could definitely, there's probably a merit badge for this. I hope that didn't mess that up. Nah, that's all right. I don't care about that. I'm going to scrape this a little more aggressively right here. Try to get some of the grease and some of this material off here. But I'm glad you're here, man, studying. I'm sure nobody's on the clock right now doing this while they're at work. I'm sure nobody in here is a hunter who's like just got out of the woods yesterday and wants to think about what they can do with their deer. I'm sure nobody's in that situation. There's all kinds of things you can do with that deer, man. Don't throw anything away before I tell you, okay? Let Calvin tell you when you can throw it away. Keep it. Let me know, and then I'll tell you when you can throw it away. I'll give you permission. How y'all like that? You like that? Don't throw it away. By default, keep it. I want to say thanks to Pilato for being a member for 4 months, man. We love having Pilato around. He's a joker, so don't take anything he says seriously unless he says it seriously. Unless he says seriously, guys. Don't take it seriously. We love Pilato, man. Good guy. All right, so that's like degreased kind of and scraped, scudded. I love these hocks. This was on a big deer here. It's either the lower legs. I like the pattern of hair on these, so I wanted to keep it. I got one more of these, I think, in here. Yeah, it's from that same deer. So these are 2 different deer, a smaller one and a bigger one here. Ooh, look at that. That really took in the tannins last night. Yeah, that's good. It needs a little scraping. If you're good with a knife, you can do it this way, but try not to damage the flesh side. Flesh side's a little more sturdy than the grain side, which is where the hair is on this. We're not even working grain side. All of the tannin has to be absorbed by the flesh side. So you got to probably tan with the fur on there. You probably got to tan a long time. I have another buckskin here that's not that doesn't have the hair on, and I'll show you all that in a little bit. I'm sure many of you have already seen it. Trying to find any tough spots where I need to take any, like right here. There's a sinew that runs down the leg, and I think that's that twitch. They have this nerve that twitches when flies get on them, and they got these weird pieces of tissue that run through under the skin. And they can be tricky to even out with the rest of it. Welcome to Dad's Workshop. My name is Calvin. Hope you guys are having a great Monday, wherever you are. It's Monday morning, or I believe it's Monday morning, maybe Monday afternoon now. It's Monday afternoon, about 1 minute here in the eastern part of the United States. Wherever you are, I say hello to you. I ask that you subscribe to the channel, possibly, or at least like this by double tapping the screen if you're on your phone. Become a subscriber, and if you're really into this stuff and you want to hang out with us and learn more crafting, woodwork, how to build jigs, because there's other people around that you're going to get connected with when you're here, other kinds of crafting channels. We're that mecca of crafters here, live streamers. So if you're like at work and the content that you're looking for is not there, like, we're here for that. That's what we're here for. Live content that fulfills that itch that you have, you know. All right, let's put all these hocks back in here. This is the tannin solution. I'm going to strengthen that. I may even do that here on the live because I have a nice strong solution to. Oh, wow, that was sitting against the axe. And so don't do that. I set it against the axe. You can see it turned it black there, right? So got to be careful. I don't want to stain stuff. Got to be watching out with metals. Scraping it with my knife, it should be stainless, so I shouldn't have to deal with that very much. Roy's Timber Art Technique. Can I have a shout out? Shout out Roy's Timber Art Techniques. Cedar Grow Box, welcome. Also a member. Avero said the stream is so caught up for me. It's also 12:01. Normally there's a few minute delay. YouTube up their game. Ole Miss 644 said, I was surprised they wanted to go that far. Does it matter what animal the brain comes from? Nah, just be careful, because there are some animals that carry like Creutzfeldt, mad cow disease. Just always be careful about that. I'm really comfortable with brain material. I was telling Heather this the other day. Nah, it doesn't matter what brain you use. Brain, and also I'm going to tell you this. The hind legs from animals, if you have access to livestock parts, those hind legs, take that bone that I'm going to show you right now, one of them. All right, this is a cannon bone from a small buck here. It comes from the lower leg. It's a very strong bone. Take these and pour hot water over them on the side that's shaped like a D, right? Pour hot water over it. Let that fat boil out of there, out of the marrow. Use the marrow too. That marrow, and if you're not going to eat it or give it to your dogs or something, use the marrow in there as it's like just like brain tissue. It is. I'm telling you, it's just like brain tissue. So use that as well. Great question. Great question, man. Yeah, you can use any brain, man. Ole Miss. I don't think the brain origin matters at all. Now I'm going to pull something out here, and I want viewer discretion to be extremely advised, okay? And we're going to make this private afterwards. I want to show you all one thing. This is always like Calvin's show and tell, okay? I'm not trying to gross anyone out. God forbid, all right? I'm going to show you, because this is educational content. That's my disclaimer. Heather, make it 18 plus if you can. All right, here is the top of a full cape here. This is a buck, all right? And I respect this animal, so please don't think that I'm trying to disrespect this animal. I made one mistake that breaks my heart right here in the eye, right? When I was removing this animal's skin. You start from the lips. The nose is, and the cartilage under the nose are completely preserved. This is the full head of a male deer, right? And I bless this animal. I thank you so much, and I'm so sorry. I don't want to gross anyone out. That's not my goal here. But if you ever see a mounted buck or something like that, that's the process they have to go through. They have to skin the buck's head. So I'm going to pull that off. I just wanted to show y'all that real quick. Oh, good. 18 plus is on. That's good. Good. Thank you. Yeah, it's in really good condition. I'm really happy about it. Yeah, it still has some fleshing. I can pull it out and cut a few pieces. It's salting right now. Yeah, I mean it's been both ways, inside and out. So you see, this one needs more fleshing, and the ears are really complicated. So sorry if this offends folks. I really don't want to scare people, because this is stuff that people used to always do. So here's the inside, turn it all the way inside out. The ears of a deer, I wish people would have showed me this stuff, man. The ears, the inside of a deer's ears are so powerful. You know how a deer can turn their ear in every direction? Well, there's these huge tendons that run down through the cheeks and the neck of the deer that allow it to really control those ears. And so the ears are really complicated. And then getting around the antlers can be quite difficult. It's a fox. John, welcome. So that's the inside. I'll cut a couple pieces off that need to come off anyways and kind of resalt it. Let me put these other hawks aside here. Again, viewer discretion is strongly advised here. When you salt it, it makes the removal of this tissue here a little easier. The person I watched do this was a little more aggressive with the knife. I pulled and stuck my hands in. So let me give you all an example. So if I'm working the deer's head and I get up to the antlers, this is all about preserving and respecting the animal and using as much of it as possible. As I've told people before, you can do this with me when I die too. So I'm up on the antlers, right? And here's the antlers. I'm going to take a screwdriver and put them up under there. Then I get my fingers up in there between the skull and the face, and I work my fingers in there. A lot of people are kind of scared to do that, so they cut, but you end up messing up that cape if you cut too much. You have slice marks. So the best thing to do is to get your fingers in there, and you can see I cleanly pulled the flesh here. There's no problem. There's a couple little extra pieces, but that's better than slice marks, right? Y'all can stomach that? Can you handle that? A lot of people have a hard time with this stuff. It gets a little, they think it's gory. I'm not trying to gore anybody. It's not the purpose here. So I saved some of the fleshing till later with this because I just wanted to get it off correctly. And I don't want to mess that up now either, but I do have to take some of this off. So you guys got me doing this now. When in doubt, leave it on, dude. And the vinegar and stuff, it'll work it off. That's my opinion. And when you salt it, it's gonna drip. It's gonna be kind of gross. I bet there's not any taxidermy live streams, dude. I mean, I know I asked Google if I should do this, and they were like, well, as long as you're really careful. Stuck myself a little there. I don't remember. I don't want on yourself. If you want any more, you can sing it yourself. So I got that line in my head. I got Christmas carols in my head, man. It's almost Christmas time, you know? Cheeks, all of that. There's a lot of flesh in here that you have to try to clean out. So whenever somebody gets something mounted, I don't think you quite know the work that goes into it. Even you're doing it the fast new way, they are always like there's a lot of work behind it. If you're taking it to your taxidermist or whatever, bring them the full cape, bring them the whole deer with the head and everything connected. That's the way to do it. See how I can cleanly get that off now? That has to do with the salt content. So I'm able to peel this. This subdermal peeling I didn't do on that deer hide behind me because it all came off clean. Almost got a whole chunk here off. Now this is where you tease it off with your knife, right? Unless you can pull that whole thing off. No cuts. No cuts through. Boom. The other jowl too. I think a lot of tanners or a lot of taxidermists will take this and put it in formaldehyde. I'm not going to use formaldehyde on here, guys. I just wanted the experience of taking the full cape, taking the full head, seeing whether I could skin it properly. And I did, I think, other than that one mistake I made on the eye. You're supposed to try to get the tear ducts with it and everything. I may not go after that just yet. When you're skinning stuff, generally you're trying to just follow and only cut where you have to, like, because you don't want to leave a pelt or a piece with a whole bunch of slice marks in it. Yeah, no, I don't think I'm going to go that far. Joe J says I'm a vulture. Yeah, maybe I am too. I'm trying not to be, but actually, I'm kind of friends with the vultures here. We have a working relationship. I give them stuff I don't want, and they come around and take care of it. You know, those animals will show you all the good parts, though, like for eating. Those are the ones. That's how you know where the best part of the animal is. What do the animals go for first? brain, stuff like that. Internal organs. That's what they go for first. They gut it. Sometimes they leave the lean meat. It's crazy. There we go. I got a hold of that now. Oh, Miss Heather's coming out. That means I missed something. Missed a question or something in the chat. Sorry, guys. My hands are kind of messed up too. So, oh, y'all can kind of see where that eye socket got messed up, though. What was the question, babe? Yeah. Yeah. What's the smell like? Actually, blood here, well, and salt. Like, I don't know how to smell meat. Is kind of the smell. Now with the other pelt that I had up, the raccoon pelt has a kind of a decomp smell to it. But there is like a certain smell that you have to get used to, and I definitely had that on the muskrat pelt. It's like a metallic smell, the iron in the blood kind of. But as someone mentioned the other day, the worst smell is that evisceration smell, where the guts break open. That's the worst smell. And here I keep the smell pretty good because I handle stuff really quickly. Like you're in here, you're standing next to some bad stuff, but like some knee bones and stuff. But in general, the smell's not too bad around here. Also, Carrie popped in. Oh, Carrie. Hey, Carrie. Welcome, Carrie. Member and friend of the program. And then what Aiden was replying to was her own question. I got a Fisher, kind of like a mink taxidermy that's also not gross to me personally. But then she said, could you use ants to flesh something? And then she looked up and answered it saying that she can do. Yeah. Yes, you can. Here's what the thing is. Just if you're going to do that, what you do is just cut a hole in the ground, bury it in the ground, and pull it back out. But an unprepared hide in the ground, they might cut holes in your hide too. So if you're trying to get a skull or bone preservation, yeah, you can dig it. And the maggots might eat through the skin is the problem and lay eggs in the skin. Then you got to deal with that. So we actually try to prevent that by using borax and salts. And then freezing. So insects are not great to have in the skin. If you get maggots, they're going to do more than what you want them to do because all the tissue is rotting, and there is a point where the guts and stuff will spoil the skin. There is a point. So I recommend not using maggots, but if you're trying to preserve bone, it's fine. Let the maggots do all that. Put it in the ground. Bury it in the ground and dig it up in a year. That's the way to do that. Hope for the best. Once leather is tan, though, you can put it in a compost pile and it won't even decompose, like bark tan leather. That's awesome. I love those questions, guys. Great questions, and thank you for the appreciation too. You know, I enjoy this. So that's what we're always looking for in life. We're looking for a balance between what we enjoy and how we can benefit others, right? And if I enjoy this and can benefit others, I mean, I don't enjoy butchering an animal so much as the process of taking this animal and turning it into something useful. And as I've told people before, I'm not against them using my pelt when I die. So do unto others, including animals. If there's a use for me after I die, if somebody needs me for warmth, especially one of my family members, one of my kids, want to wear me as a pelt, the ancient Mayans did that. Check it out. Look it up. Look it up, man. The ancient Mayas had a priest that would wear somebody's skin around town for the whole year, I think. Then they would put it in this box and bury it in the temple after that. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, it's all coming up here now. See, if you can get your fingers in there and do it with your hands, it's better than cutting it with a knife. Just use the knife to aid. Looks like it's going to kind of end. It's not going to let me pass this ear. But that's fine. We'll take that. A little polish I did on the knife earlier helped a lot. I have this theory. My theory is you can tan even stuff with flesh on it. Like you try to remove it, but if you look at the bog people, which are some of our, if you're European, that's our ancestors, the people that were human sacrificed and thrown in the bogs. Those people's skin is so well preserved. Their internal organs are even preserved. Their subdermal tissue is preserved. The muscle is preserved. So it just takes longer. I mean, I don't want meat on my leather, but I have this theory that it's not a huge deal as long as you get the grease and oils and stuff off of there and trying to scrape at the meats over time. I think you're probably okay with a strong tannin bath. I'll show you what I got going on in my tannin bath here in a second. This is a buck, what they would call it's like, to take the full cape, you would have to do this. If you're doing a showpiece and it's a full animal, you got to do all of this stuff. Interesting, these papillae inside their mouth, they're like little tiny teeth almost, but they're not sharp. I wish I could show them to you, but they're not really, like, they're not visible with all this salt on here. But the deer has these little papillae in its mouth next to its teeth and its lips that help them. I think they help them break down vegetation. So this was like a, I don't want to call it a yearling buck. I think it was about 2 years old. If somebody knows the difference between 3 and 4 points, because it had 3 points on its rack. But that was some defleshing right there. Doesn't smell too bad around here. That's the result of that kind of meat result. And then what we want to do is we want to salt it again. And this is a little cumbersome because it's not a regular square shape. This buck, this is roadkill. Yeah. The deer before this that I did, that I'm going to show you the pelt in a second, I killed that deer. It's still ethical though. When you're coating with salt, and I don't know if you guys can see me, you want to try to put like 1/8 of an inch of salt on it. Really a decent coat. All the way, uncover everything with it. I might pin it up by the 2 ears like this and let it kind of sit like that for a little while. It's been struggling, like dripping a lot. I just pour it out. And you waste a lot of salt doing this too. Yeah, I have another pellet here where I did take that animal. Yeah. And then there's this one, which was roadkill. Fresh too, because I was out driving the day before on that road. Saw it. I didn't waste any time. I went over there and got him. Let that salt kind of sit on there for a second. Looks like my time's kind of running out here. Kind of get to a point in the day where people had enough, and that's okay. I understand that. So I get that way too. Here's the pelt from that deer that you just saw. This is its full pelt. It's a little stiff. I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put towels over it and moisturize it. Then put it in a vinegar pickling brine. Looks like it did lose a little hair down here on this flank. The area where the hair is white is like the tissue is thinner there. I don't know how to describe it. I think you get kind of a feeling for this over time. But let me do this. No, I'm not limited on time. No, I'm cool. Just when we get down to the numbers get lower, I start to wrap it up. Usually. I'm not limited on time, no Avros. Ooh, wow, that even looks really good to me. Let's check on our raccoon pelt and the lye mixture. See if we can pull some of that hair off. I do have to go travel a bit today to go see my kids. So, here's that raccoon pelt. This is it's a caustic lye solution, so I want to be very careful I don't splash right now. And I also probably need to be careful. A hole is poked in my gloves too. Wow. Yeah, I think that's going to come out easier now. Maybe not. It's still in there tight. Feels like it should, though. I'm not so good with that. You don't want any splashing when it comes to this stuff. Well, that's coming out a little easier. Let's see if we go back here. You got to be careful with this grain side. You can damage it easily. So let's use something that we can scrape with. Oh, well, yeah, no, we do members only chat. Well, nah, members only chats help because your members get something. If you don't have members, like you don't make money here. You have to have people who support your channel. Like that's the most important people when you run a channel, the people that are supporting it actively. And monthly too, like renewing it. Because sometimes people will be members for a little short amount of time, kind of get their word in, and then they roll out, which is okay. Any amount of support helps, but you want the kind that renew. I think this needs to soak in here longer, guys, and I'm not going to force it because it's just at that point I put enough time into it now where I want to make sure it seems to be taking the grease off for sure, or degreasing it in some respect. But what I want to do kind of now is, since I've done that, I want to put it in a different bath so it's not sitting in caustic solution all the time. But maybe it needs to stay in there a little longer. See, there's no paint by numbers, as my friend says. There's no paint by numbers way to do this. Sometimes it's problem solving. Yeah, and I don't want to be dealing with this lye that long here. I think what I'm going to do now that it's been in lye is I'm going to put it in this rainwater I have over here and let it wash that lye off. There may be a way to like soak it in there for days, and I can see it's definitely degreasing it, although the grease is kind of still on the surface here. Definitely, if I put it in a warmer room, I think the hair might start slipping. It is kind of only along the edge. Yeah, it's slipping out now, I think. Yeah. Okay, so let me get this stuff out of the way. This is probably mildly caustic. I bet this probably has a similar amount of like acidity, we'll just like say causticness, to a lot of baking soda and water, basically, or soda ash or something like that. But be careful with lye. Don't play with lye. Don't tell a lie either. Don't play with the lye. Don't tell a lie. Don't do any of that. Don't do lye stuff. Cadence says, probably a stupid question, but why don't you use shampoo on the hair to get the grease out? Because shampoo actually has sodium hydroxide in it. So if you use shampoo on the hair, Cadence, my understanding is you can lose the hair. You also are trying to keep it dry. If you're trying to keep a pelt, the hair on a pelt, you're trying to keep it dry. But yes, yes, that's correct. Averroes said he basically made it into soap with the exercise, with the fat and the lye that I just put in there. It basically saponifies sodium hydroxide. I make soap here, so I know kind of the saponification process. But Cadence, thank you for being here and thank you for asking questions. It's not a stupid question. It's a fair question. So don't think I think that's stupid at all. Yeah, with the excess fat. So shampoo should, yeah. So I was thinking about that, right? Also, yes, I do. I know other cadences. Also, I was a music teacher, and cadence is a musical term. Um, so I'm really familiar with that. Had a student named Cadence too back in the day. One of my best students in the class. The boys were always the worst students, man. It was always the girls that were good. Man, they really they listened. I just want a towel to sop up some of that grease up on the. Oh, I got one over here. That's gross that I can use. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Cadence, thanks for coming in. Avros, thank you for being here and being so attentive and paying attention too, because that like helps me answer questions if I got someone else to do that. Heather does what she can. She got other stuff inside. Oh, let me show you all some of my other pellets real quick while I got you here. Salt, the enemy of this metal, man. My knife is just, it's messing my knife up bad. Well, hello, Paco. I have a dog in here now. I'm going to move this tub over here. I'm going to show y'all a couple of my other pellets. Cadences are musical geniuses, is what Cadence said. That is correct. That's correct. All right. This, we have a muskrat pelt right here. This one's almost ready for tanning, I think. I'm going to moisturize, then tan. Not moisturize with emulsifiers, with fats. I'm going to moisturize with water, get it pliable again, and you can't even hide from me. You can't hide from the hide. But this right here is a muskrat pelt. It's going to be nice and waterproof. I made it like this so just in case it wanted to be turned into a muffler, you know, to warm your hands, it's going to be waterproof, right? That's why it's muskrat fur is so good. People don't in the world don't know. The muskrat is kind of an invasive animal in a lot of places. The open season on the muskrats all the time here. So then flesh, see, this was pulled off just like I pulled it off just like that. So I took the head off the animal and removed this pelt just like that. Kind of proud of that too. Then we got a couple other little pelts over here. I'll show you. This is a squirrel. It's been salted right here. I have the tail, but it's somewhere else. And that was almost ready. I can feel it's almost ready for to be washed. This is another hawk, and it has some skin missing. What I'm going to do with this one here is I'm going to turn this into hide glue. I'm going to let the hair fall off. If this lye solution works, I'll put it in a lye solution, slip the hair off, dry it until it's rawhide, chop it into strips, put it in water, and make hide glue out of it, and show people how to make hide glue, which you can use for woodwork and other applications. But that's a squirrel and that's a hawk. Not a hawk like H-A-W. Okay, it's a hawk from a deer, which is a lower leg. And this is a muskrat right here. And then you guys saw the raccoon, right? Kind of is all I was going to do today on my live stream. Oh, yeah, we did look at these too. I need to add more tan. You can see how, here's some last lesson. You see how you can kind of see the deer hawks through the water? It's because they're absorbing all the tannins quickly now. So I got to add more tannin all the time to these to make sure that they're getting tannin because they're new. And so they're absorbing more tannins than a hide that's been in there for a while. So one more thing I want to show you. My deer hide that doesn't have hair, that is getting towards finished. Let's put this back here. It's Calvin Show and Tell. That's what we're doing here. Whoops, sorry, microphone. I just clipped the microphone a bit. Do that. Move this stuff out of the way here. All right. This is what I spend a lot of my day doing here. Pretty proud of this pelt too. I'm sure there's a lot of critics out there. Seems to be critics of everything. But this is a deer pelt that I've been tanning with for a couple weeks with pecan shells and mimosa pods that have been ground up and boiled until the tannin, then concentrated until the tannin was real strong. I'm going to take it out of here once I can get it squeezed out so it doesn't drip all over everything. And I'll put it on the fleshing post. There's probably a little fleshing I could do or scudding I could do to the one side. I want to make sure that that post doesn't have any of that lye on it either, though. I don't want that getting on there. Y'all see how it reacts. It's supple. You got to work it, though, to get it like this. Well, leather is not made like this anymore. It's made with chemical processes, chromium and stuff that's damaging. But if you do bark tanning, the leather is machine washable when you finish it. That is a durable product, right? So the things are right there in nature for us to use that we need. This is essentially bushcraft, y'all. And it's better than the way they do it now. So hold on, let me wipe off my fleshing beam a bit here. I'm gonna put I have a cedar log that's split. I'm gonna use that in a little bit as a fleshing beam because this is kind of harsh on the, it's also made out of Douglas fir, so it actually has tannins in it. You can see Douglas fir actually has quite a high tannin content. Nurse D said, have you ever tried tanning in walnut outer shells? We don't have walnut here. We have pecans, so I use pecans, which is basically the same thing. And what I do, Nurse D, let me read your whole comment first. Have you ever tried tanning in walnut outer shells after soaking shells in water for a month? It makes for a nice tan look. So yeah, that's essentially what I'm doing, Nurse D, because this is pecan shells, which are the same tannin basically and the same color. But I crush them in the blender, right? Then cook them. Then take that material, concentrate that down, add more pecans and more mimosa seed pods to that. Mine is a combination of mimosa seed pods and pecan shells. That's what I use for my tannin solution, basically. I'm going to put a bucket underneath. I also don't want it touching a salty countertop like workbench. So I got to be careful. Let me bring it back a little bit. Want to be careful you don't touch dirty, cruddy surfaces with the stuff. Yeah, we don't have a lot of walnut down here, but we have bitter nut hickory. We got pecan. Those are the same. They're going to provide the same things as walnuts. Have you ever smelled? You smell the walnut, which we're all over the. We have some black walnut here. They're just not as plentiful as other trees like pecan and bitter nut hickory, which in my parents' forest, there's bitter nut hickory everywhere, and also chestnut oak, which makes for a really good tannin. I'm going to show you all up close what this looks like. It's starting to really get its character as leather. I'm going to scut the ugly side real quick, and then I'll walk up to the camera and show you up close what it looks like. It is a bit on the greasy side here. Makes it tempting to take it out of the process. Nurse D's in Pennsylvania. Oh, I'm glad. That's good to know. We're here in North Carolina. Yeah, black walnut trees are fantastic. Great for woodwork too. Not good for horses though. If they eat those nuts, they can die. The Jugandia or whatever that toxin is that's inside of black walnuts, it also kills other plants around, right? So black walnuts have a defense mechanism against other plants, and it's a toxin that's in their shells and in the droppings from the leaves, and that is bad for animals. particularly grazing animals like horses and cows and stuff like that. I would like to have, my goal with this is either a pair of mittens, right? And I have the muskrat pelt too, or I want a woodworking apron. This would make a great woodworking apron. It'd be strong, it'd be comfortable and supple, and it would protect you from little things hitting you and cutting you, you know, and it would look nice. And the more you work these, like the better they look. They also absorb more tannins the more you work them. I've been showing this pelt for a while. I looked at some pictures of it from the other day. It was amazing how much it's come along since then. All right. So, not perfect, right? But perfection is not what we're always looking for. What we're looking for is good and our best, right? We do our best. And it's starting to get the texture that my cousin's buckskin had, which I like, that kind of lumpy texture, which I like a lot. Kind of a fan of. It's going to be that way anyways because I got to work the mess out of it. Let me put it right up to the camera here. That's pecan hulls and what you call it, mimosa pods. Yeah, so probably I don't know which one tans more, but it's very soft and very supple. So when we dry it, see it still got some moisture in it, but as you work it, it gets its character more. What you don't want to do is damage this grain side and like rip the grain side skin off, right? And as you work it more, you work it back and forth and stuff. Like tanners have so many pieces of leather they're working at once that it becomes difficult. Uh-oh, I'm getting metal on this, and I don't want that. No, I don't want that at all. All right, I'm gonna put this into its back into its bath. Metal fragments must be getting on there, turning some stuff black. It's tricky, man. All right. I'm gonna show y'all what I do throughout the day. I'm in here pulling it through, squeezing it out. I don't know what that came from. Oh, it's from the container. Pulling it out, squeezing it out, putting it back in the tannin bath again. Adding tannins to it. It has a good smell. Lightly fermented, oaky kind of a smell to it. And that's that, ladies and gentlemen. Dad's Workshop Tannery. We're gonna keep doing Dad's Workshop wood stuff, but like it's the fall and the winter and all of that, and my goodness, we got to do different stuff sometimes. Thank you for all those likes, everybody. My name is Calvin. You are in the workshop. Thank you for being here. Thanks for hanging out this whole time and asking all those awesome questions. Appreciate it. Hopefully you subscribed. Hopefully you learned something. Rolls onto a stick to squeeze out. I definitely thought about that, Nurse D, the other day because I've done laundry that way before, where I rolled it out on a stick, like I put a stick against the counter. That's a good idea. Oh, Cadence, thank you so much. Cadence, you know I have a tradition here on Dad's Workshop where I give everyone who gives me a gift a drum roll. Tradition. Thank you, Cadence, for that. I had a pretty good cadence on that drum roll, right? But let me give you a better one. Give you a firm cadence there. A cadence for cadence. Now, minus drumsticks, that's the best I can do. Thank you so much, Cadence. Thank you for that super chat. It's very, very much. Oh, Wes Does It popped in. We're just about to roll out, man. Wes Does It. The recipient is going to be the recipient of a couple of these pieces. Did I turn these out the opposite way? Hopefully, I took them off straight. Did a lot of stuff on the workshop today, guys. But welcome to Wes Does It, and thank you so much. We got the drumstick. See, we got the drumstick emoji. Cadence, welcome. Thank you for being here. Hopefully you come back. We are going to take a couple-day break for Thanksgiving, but I will try to stream a little bit from where I will be. Thank you so much for everybody being here. I'm humbled at the support and the response I've gotten. It's been really positive, and this is weird stuff, so I'm kind of surprised. It's very nichey. But thank you to everyone. Thanks to Wes for popping in. Cadence, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. We are here to answer questions if we can answer them at all. We got through a lot today. I'm really proud of that. And we'll keep it moving. We're working on this box. Got to keep working on the box. Got to put something on the box. My fingers are tanned, guys. Like I've tanned my fingernails. Looks like I've almost painted my fingernails. Thank you, everybody, for being here. Love y'all. Do the next right thing. Cadence. Big shout out to Cadence for the gift and a new friend of the program. So thank y'all so much. We will be back. Carrie, thank you for being here. Love the emojis. That is a dad emoji right there. And we hope to see y'all all soon. Nurse D, thank you for the information, not so much the questions. Nurse D's got some experience. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Do the next